The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached an unprecedented and alarming scale. Today's events underscore a relentless campaign of violence, pushing the region further into an abyss of suffering and instability. This report critically examines the latest developments, their profound human cost, and the urgent implications for global policy and humanitarian action. Since dawn today, Israeli airstrikes and ground assaults have claimed the lives of at least 51 Palestinians across Gaza. This relentless escalation of hostilities targets densely populated areas, demonstrating a disregard for civilian life. The casualties include vulnerable civilians, notably children and individuals desperately seeking humanitarian aid, highlighting a systemic failure to protect non-combatants. Widespread targeting extends beyond military objectives, striking shelters for displaced families, including a tent in Khan Yunis. Residences in refugee camps like Maghazi and Nusayrat have also been hit. Such actions raise serious questions about adherence to international humanitarian law and the principles of distinction and proportionality. The targeting of aid seekers represents a grave escalation in the conflict's brutality. 4 individuals attempting to access food assistance near Gaza City were killed by Israeli forces, with eyewitnesses describing indiscriminate gunfire. This pattern suggests a deliberate obstruction of humanitarian relief, exacerbating an already catastrophic situation. Gaza City's dire conditions have reached critical heights, with famine formally recognized and starvation already contributing to a mounting death toll. This man-made catastrophe is not merely a consequence of conflict, but appears to be a tactic, deepening the humanitarian crisis. The international community must unequivocally condemn the use of starvation as a weapon of war. Israeli tanks and troops have intensified assaults on neighborhoods like Zaytun, Shejaya, Sabra, and Jabalia. The stated aim is to capture Gaza City and dismantle Hamas control. Yet this objective is pursued with devastating consequences for the civilian population. The military maneuvering occurs against a backdrop of widespread famine. Relief organizations report that famine has already claimed hundreds of lives, including 115 children, figures disputed by the Israeli government. This discrepancy underscores a critical lack of transparency and accountability regarding the true human cost. The offensive's strategic gains are overshadowed by an unfolding humanitarian disaster. Ceasefire talks remain precariously balanced, with proposals for a 60-day truce involving hostage and prisoner exchanges. However, both Israel and Hamas express deep skepticism about the other's intentions, preventing any meaningful agreement. This diplomatic impasse allows the violence and suffering to continue unabated. The ongoing military operations and deepening humanitarian crisis actively undermine any prospects for a lasting peace. As starvation increases and violence persists, efforts toward genuine peace talks face insurmountable challenges. The international community's inability to broker a durable ceasefire is a profound failure. Since October 2023, over 62,000 Palestinians have died in Gaza, a figure that continues to climb daily. Gazan health authorities and wider humanitarian actors warn that famine and mass displacement are compounded by relentless siege and bombardment. This constitutes a severe violation of human rights and international law. Global bodies have decried the man-made famine, yet Israel continues its assault amidst mounting civilian harm. This critical juncture demands more than condemnation. It requires decisive action. The international community's credibility hinges on its response to this unfolding tragedy. The reported deaths, particularly among vulnerable groups, children, displaced persons, and those seeking aid, illustrate the deepening crisis and the systematic targeting of civilian life. The intensified offensive marks a significant escalation in Israel's operations, pursued with devastating human consequences. As starvation increases and violence continues, efforts toward peace talks face mounting challenges, drowning out diplomacy. We urge the international community, aid organizations, and political leaders to demand an immediate, unconditional ceasefire. Pressure must be applied for unimpeded humanitarian access and accountability for all violations of international law. Support humanitarian efforts, advocate for civilian protection, and demand an end to this catastrophic conflict.